Today we'll start with page 3-1 of your handouts. It's in the classroom assignments folder, and I think I emailed everybody all the handouts. There's one or two typos today. I'll get, I'll point out when we get to them. But we're going to cover selection sets. Okay, Dan, you with us? I thought you were already with us. Okay, Dan, you tuning in? Okay, but first on the list is selection sets. Let's draw a whole plate of spaghetti so that we got something to select with the erase command, and later tonight we'll learn the mirror command, move, scale, rotate. Trim command asks for a selection set. So let's get a bunch of garbage on the screen so we got something to select from. And I'll draw some circles. Just keep hitting enter and you get the circle center radius option coming up. Not necessarily the one that the options that are behind these icons, but the basic circle command comes up if you just hit enter after each completion. So I got this garbage here to select. Right now you only know how to use the erase command to select a single object. Just click the erase icon, select an object or two, and hit the enter button or the space bar, and you're back to type a command down here on the command prompt. But first part of week number 3 material is learning how to, oops, I'm on page rats. I'm on page 3 dash let me get back to 3-1. Looks like I lost it somewhere. Hate it when that happens. All right, go back to week 3. And why do I not see assignment? Classwork. There we go. Double click. I'm sorry. I need to double click on classroom. Sally's coming aboard. Page 3-1 we're following now. Okay, so again we're learning selection sets. Here's my YouTube video. I don't. If I click on it too much, it'll launch it. But copy paste. A tinyurl.com/Burgener-4, and that'll be the YouTube tutorial on selection sets. Anyway, check it out. Let's play with the erase command for a while yet here. Click the erase icon. You can select things with a window. Notice if you start on the left and finish on the right, it's a blue window with a continuous line. On the other hand, if you click on the screen and move and have your second click to the left, you get this green window with a dotted line. Okay, that's more powerful than moving to the right and getting a blue window with a continuous line. Let me hit escape to back out. Start over again. Click erase. Up. Click erase. Click. Move to the right and click again. Notice the only thing that's grayed out, indicating it's selected, is the circle that was entirely 100% within the blue continuous line window. I can add to my selection set. Notice down here on the command prompt, It says one object has been found. So my selection set right now contains one object for the erase command to operate on. I can pick a second window and add it to my selection set. Again, a blue window with a continuous line only selects what is 100% within the window. Now I got two objects in my selection set. I can individually click on an object. There I just found, added two more. I got 4 in the selection set. Okay, hit enter when your selection set includes no more, no less than the objects you want to operate on. Modify command continues. Erase has nothing else to do, so you're back to type a command again. Okay, let me undo to bring the garbage back. Everybody with me so far? Again, click window, click to the left of an object, then click to the right of an object, and only what is totally enclosed within that window gets selected. Hit enter when you want the command to continue. Again, the erase command has nothing left to do, so it erases and you're back to type a command. I'll click undo to bring it back again. Now if you click to the right and then to the left, this will select a lot more than what's enclosed. Right now the circle and a short diagonal line is completely enclosed within this crossing window. Again, crossing windows are created by starting your first point on the right and then your second point on the left. But check it out, the crossing window also selects what is crossed by the window. So I've got 1, 2, 3, I got 5 objects selected with just about the same size window by having my second point to the left of my first point. I can still use a regular window to select objects. I'm selecting these circles. I'll select this diagonal line here with a regular window. I can select these 2 lines with a tiny little crossing window by clicking to the right and then clicking to the left. So now I got a total of 10 objects selected. I'll hit enter. The modify command continues. Again, erase has nothing left to do. So the erase command completes and gets you back to type a command. Let me undo to bring it back. So far, so good. Start high or low on the left, and then click on high or low on the right. And whatever is 100% within that window is selected for the procedure. Undo to bring it back again. Whoops, wrong icon. There we go. However, with a crossing window starting on the high or low on the right and ending high or low on the left, anything that is enclosed or crossed is selected for the procedure. Hit enter and the procedure moves on. Samantha's, welcome aboard, Samantha. Again, everybody's got their microphone muted. Dan, I don't believe your microphone is plugged in. I don't see an icon with a red slash across it. I believe your microphone is dead. Hopefully you can type me a message in the chat. I don't have anything chat open up right now. But hopefully the first time somebody chats, it'll automatically appear. Anyway, getting back to the selection set, click the erase icon. AutoCAD comes back with select objects. So it's asking you to build a selection set of objects with which the erase command will work. Check it out. I can select everything in my drawing with just 2 clicks with a crossing window. Doesn't even have to be a big crossing window. About right there might be as small of a crossing window as whoop, there we go. Now I got everything. 19 objects were added to the selection set. Hit enter or space bar and the erase command continues. Nothing left to continue, so it ends. Click undo. Now there's a third way I want you to learn to select objects. Well, I guess you already know 3 ways. You know, individual click. You know, hit the erase and get an individual click. You know, get a regular blue continuous line window by starting on the left and ending on the right. And you know, the crossing window starting on the right and ending on the left selects everything that's enclosed or crossed. And AutoCAD by default, as you keep clicking stuff, selecting with the crossing window or a regular blue window, it'll continue to be added to the selection set. Got 9 items now. But check it out. Hold the Shift key and you can remove stuff from the selection set using the same selection tools we've already learned. You know, so I'll window everything. So now I've got nothing in my selection set because I deselected them by holding the Shift key and going through the process of selecting those objects. So far, so good. I'm still in the erase command. It's still saying select objects, so I'll select a bunch of stuff. I'll hold the Shift button down and deselect a bunch of stuff. This guy is the only one selected. I'll hold the Shift button and select him with a crossing window. Now I've got nothing selected because I selected that while holding the Shift key down. I can select everything with a big crossing window, hold the Shift button and deselect a few things with a individual click or a regular blue window. I've reduced my selection set from 17 down to 15 by deselecting 2 objects. Hit enter when you're done. Undo to get your garbage back. So far, so good. Let me demonstrate it with IntelliCAD. I'm taking a gamble here, but I believe I can copy everything over to IntelliCAD using the Windows clipboard. Never done it before. Let's see if it'll work. We'll start a brand new drawing in IntelliCAD using a template drawing. Click Next, accept the suggested CAD.dwt or iCAD.dwt. I always thought it was CAD, but it's iCAD. I'll right click and paste. Good. Okay, good. The Windows clipboard lets you copy between CAD systems, just like you can copy paste from PowerPoint to Word. I'll close the properties. Check it out. Lots of icons are turned on already in IntelliCAD. So instead of turning blue to be on, IntelliCAD has them yellow to turn on. We only want to have turned on polar tracking and set to 45 degrees. And we want entity snap, same as AutoCAD's object snaps, set to the 5 favorites that I have here checked. They're in a different matrix than AutoCAD, but the same names: endpoint, center, intersection, midpoint, and quadrant. Have those checked and running all the time. Now we'll click the delete icon in IntelliCAD. It's the same as AutoCAD's erase command. I forget what you call this, some sort of menu pops up. I'll show you that, how to get that in a second. But you can select things with an individual click, or you can select things with a regular window, or you can select things with a crossing window, the same process as with AutoCAD. You know, move to the right, you get a regular window. Move to the left, you get a crossing window, and the crossing window selects more than the regular window. Hold the shift key down and you can deselect stuff. Hold the shift key down for individual clicks. Hold the shift key down for a crossing window. Hold the shift key down for a regular window that only selects what is 100% within the window. So now I only have one object in my selection set. Hit enter for the delete command in IntelliCAD. And what happened? Okay, I hit spacebar. Let's try that again. Hold the shift key down. Darn it, I did it exact same thing again. Force a habit. Hold the shift key. Now I'll hit the enter button. By golly, why did they not erase? Delete, select a bunch of stuff, hold the shift key down, remove a bunch of stuff, hit enter. Okay, it's working now. I don't know what I was doing wrong. But those of you that are using IntelliCAD, you see the process very similar to AutoCAD. Okay, Aaron, I forget who's got IntelliCAD. I wrote it down in my notes, but the notes are away from my desk right now. So turn on your mic and let me know if you need something repeated. Again, click delete, select stuff, hold shift, deselect stuff, and hit enter. And IntelliCAD deletes the same way as AutoCAD erases. I'll undo to bring back the garbage. Okay. Now, any textbook will tell you several other methods of selecting objects. I don't want to fire hose you, give you too much to learn, but P-enter selects the stuff that was previously selected. L-enter selects the last thing created. And students tend to like this. Okay, it isn't in IntelliCAD. AutoCAD's got this new lasso technique. So I can make a regular window by holding the left mouse down instead of forming a rectangular window. If I go the opposite way, let's see, erase. Yeah, if I go counterclockwise, it forms a crossing lasso shape. It selects a lot more. What else? There's a fence option. Click erase, type F, enter, and everything that the fence line crosses will be erased. But again, I want you to take from this class the left to right, the right to left, the individual click, and the hold the shift key to deselect. Bring back my garbage again. So far, so good. Again, everybody's muted. And Dan, I don't see a microphone. Again, I think yours is disconnected. Next thing in week number 3 materials is the mirror command. Okay, the mirror command makes copies that are mirror images. Looking back, I probably should have taught the copy command before the mirror command. Kind of late now. Let's draw an insect, a wing of a butterfly, say. I'll click line and draw some zigzaggy shapes here. And launch, right click and pick close to terminate. Say this is an insect wing. You know the other wing of the insect is going to be a mirror copy, but until you decide where the body of the insect is the body here, is the body there, is the body here, body there, and until you decide where the body of the insect is, you don't know where to place the mirror copy to make the second wing. So let's say this is the body of the butterfly or moth, whatever. Okay, I'm gonna define the mirror line as the head and tail of this line here, like I'm defining the insect body. And across this mirror line, AutoCAD will reflect and make the mirror copy of the wing. The mirror copy and mirror command or icon in AutoCAD is this 2 triangles back to back. Okay, I believe the same icon is in IntelliCAD for those of you using IntelliCAD. Double check, command prompt says type a command. Double check you got nothing turned on the status bar except for your running object snaps and your polar tracking. Okay, we're going to finally use running object snaps now to perfectly latch on to the endpoints of this line. Remember, endpoint is one of Burgener's 5 favorite object snaps. So we're ready to invoke a command. I'll come up here to the Modify panel of the Home tab of the ribbon in AutoCAD. I launched the Mirror command. Just like Erase, the Mirror command tells you to select objects or build a selection set. I'll select everything with a quick and dirty crossing window. It closes or crosses everything. 14 objects are in my selection set. I'll tell AutoCAD I'm finished with my selection set by hitting Enter or Spacebar. The command continues. Again, Erase has nothing else to do, so it kicks you right back to type a command, but the Mirror command has 3 more things you need to tell it. First is specify the first point of the mirror line. Let's O-snap using the endpoint O-snap. Notice you got midpoint running, you got intersection running, you got center, you got quadrants. You got the 5 O-snaps running depending where your cursor is. But we just want to light on this endpoint. So I'll left click on this endpoint Now check it out. The command prompt now says specify the second point of mirror line. So I'll O snap at the end of this line. Midpoint would be we have the exact same result because it's on the same line. I'll snap on this endpoint, taking advantage of the running object snaps by having the O snap buttons on and set. Where are we? Click. Last thing to do, I probably have not forgotten for the last time. The last thing to do is answer this question. Do you want to erase the source object? IntelliCAD, I think, uses original instead of source. It guesses, and has in the default brackets, it guesses no, you do not want to erase the original or the source objects. Usually when you mirror something, you're adding to your drawing, not simply flipping stuff. You're adding more objects, not just flipping a stack of objects. So I can hit enter to say, you are correct, Mr. AutoCAD, in your suggested default of no. So it lets the original or the source objects remain and effectively doubles the amount of ink in my little butterfly sketch here. So far, so good. Let me mirror all this stuff. We'll click mirror, we'll select everything, hit enter. I'll pick 2 points for a mirror line. You know, you can pick points at random. No, I don't want to erase the source objects. I'll zoom out, and now I got a mirror copy of all this plate of spaghetti and meatballs here down there. Let me do the same in IntelliCAD. I'll make the butterfly wing. And O snap at the end, or C enter or close. So I got the butterfly wing. Incidentally, I forgot to show you how to get up that menu. Click Tools, click Options in the Manage panel. And that menu is on the Display tab, right here, Display Prompt Boxes. IntelliCAD ships and fresh out of the box has that unchecked. So I suggest you check it. I believe once you check it, it stays checked forever. Let me show that again. Tools, Options, Display. Make sure this Display Prompt boxes are checked. Click OK to exit out. Back to the mirror command. Get back to the Home tab where our Modify panel is. And most of our commands are on the Home tab. Later we'll get into some on the Annotate tab. But getting back to the Home tab, right there's the mirror icon. IntelliCAD says Command colon. That's what old AutoCAD used to say. Nothing is selected with no grips on the screen, so I'll click the mirror icon. Just like AutoCAD, IntelliCAD says select entities. AutoCAD says select objects. Entities was an old word from AutoCAD, 10, 20 years ago. So I can select my entire insect wing. Quick and easy with a crossing window. Selects everything. Okay. IntelliCAD is now asking me to deselect stuff or click on more stuff that I want to include in my selection set. So I can add more, hold the shift button, and subtract away when my selection set has everything I want to modify, in this case with the mirror command, and nothing added or else. I'll hit enter to say, hey, Mr. IntelliCAD, I'm finished selecting entities. Continue to do your thing. Hitting enter. IntelliCAD says start of mirror line, just like AutoCAD. I'll click on the tail of the insect at the end point of this line. Notice IntelliCAD has those 5 running object snaps: center, quadrant, endpoint, intersection, midpoint. Anyway, getting back to mirror, let's click on the endpoint of the insect body. Now it says end of mirror line. I forget, did AutoCAD say second point of mirror line or end of mirror line? Very similar. Just like AutoCAD, I can O-snap on the midpoint of the line, or let's click on the head of the insect. Click. Just like AutoCAD, it says, hey, do you want to delete the original entities? AutoCAD said delete the source objects instead of original entity. Just like AutoCAD, it's guessing you're going to say no. So just hit enter, and it'll accept the default no, and there's your butterfly or moth. Again, I want to emphasize, have nothing turned on the status bar except polar tracking. This icon here that looks like a clock, and entity snap. Different icon than AutoCAD's object snap, but acts the same way. Each of these has a setting. Right click. Now let's left click. I was right the first time. Right click, pick settings. And IntelliCAD should have these 5 checked. Right click on polar tracking, pick settings. And 45 should be the increment angle of the automatic T-square that comes up. You could make a drawing look good without these tools, but it's far easier to take advantage of the tools and make it perfect than it is to just fudge it and make it look close enough. So again, have polar tracking on and set, and entity snap on and set. Any question? Okay, let's go to the next command done in on the page 3-1. That's the move command. I'll go back to turn on AutoCAD. Say I want to move this butterfly. The move icon in AutoCAD looks like the move icon in PowerPoint. You know, 4 arrows pointing in 4 directions. So click on the move icon in the modify panel of the home tab of the ribbon. Just like mirror and erase, AutoCAD tells you to select objects. I'll select the entire butterfly, both wings. I can select more stuff. Oop, change my mind, I'll hold the shift key and deselect stuff. So I'm back to 28 objects selected here. Hit enter to tell AutoCAD I'm finished defining my selection set for the move modify command. AutoCAD comes back with specify the base point. It's kind of intuitive to click dead center of the stuff you're moving. I'll O-snap on the insect head. Now AutoCAD says specify the second point. Disregard the use first point as displacement in the brackets. It says specify second point. Just click another place and everything moves from where it was to the new place. Now keep in mind you can move all the ways we learned last week in drawing a line. Remember absolute coordinates 1, 2 to 5, 6. You know, you can use absolute coordinates, kind of like latitude and longitude, to make a line where you can move objects with absolute coordinates. I do that when working 3D, but I don't think it's common in two-dimensional work. Another way we drew lines, remember, pick a point, aim your cursor in one of the polar tracking angles, 45, 0, 90, what's that, 135, 180, you know, every 45 degrees it snaps into another polar tracking angle. So rest your cursor, take your hand off the mouse and type the distance you want to go in that direction. I'll say 6 and hit enter. There, just made a 6-unit line. Well, I can move exactly the same way as I drew a line. Let me show you that. Click move, select everything, hit enter. Pick a point anywhere. Hold your, take your hand off the mouse when it's resting in the polar tracking direction you want to go in, and hit the distance you want to go in. I'll say 6 and hit enter. And just barely nudged it 6 units to the upper right. Again, move, select everything, hit enter. I'll send it, say, I don't know, 30 to the left. Maybe 20 straight up. You know, the first and the second point are not important. It's the distance and direction between the first and second point, or the vector, that matters in the move command. Any question? Again, everybody's muted. Let me know by a phone call or a chat if you're unable to unmute. Let's go to IntelliCAD and do the move command. It says command prompt, nothing selected. Click the move icon. Different icon than the move icon in AutoCAD. We'll click on move, we'll select everything, we'll hit enter. We'll pick a point near the center of the insect and we'll move it a random distance and direction. Click move again, select everything again, hit enter. Say I want to move it, say 50 units to the left. I'll just rest my cursor in the 180-degree polar tracking line straight to the left, and type the distance I want to go to the left. And there I moved it from, in a vector from the original point to the 50 units to the left I moved it from where it was exactly 50 units to the left. I can take advantage of object snaps, say this is kind of an academic exercise, but say I want to move it upward exactly the diameter of this circle. Can't think of a real, real life. I want to show you that you can move using object snaps. I'll select everything, hit enter. For the base point, I'll click the quadrant of this circle. And the second point, I'll pick the top quadrant of this circle. So I moved it up exactly the distance equal to this diameter. Ready to do page 3-1? Everybody's camera's turned off, so I can't see any nodding heads.
We're ready, Paul. All of us, we're ready. We're just quiet.
Thank you, Sally. Not a problem. I talk to myself quite often anyway, so that's fine. All right, let's work on page 3-1 and end up with this 4-blade ceiling fan here. Okay, notice the blades are a little fat at one end than they are at the other end. So our first step is to make a shape of a half of a fan wing. It came out pretty weak on the handout, but right here it says start here in the upper left corner. We're going to go down, across, and up, and then close to get this, I think you call that a trapezoid. And then we'll erase this bottom line because we don't need the bottom line when we reflect the half blade to make a full wing using the mirror command. So I'll get a clear space in my drawing. Oh, let me go to AutoCAD first. Clear space in my drawing. Click the line icon, start in the upper left of this blade half. Rest my cursor on a downward polar tracking line. And without polar tracking, you can generally see when the line looks straight down, but it won't be perfect. And a robot will be, if you use your CAD drawing to run a computer numeric controlled machine, your line will be slightly diagonal, not vertical. Anyway, resting my cursor in the downward polar tracking direction, I'll type 1.5 and hit enter. A little smaller than I expected, but that's okay. I'll rest my cursor in the 0-degree polar tracking angle and type 20 to send the line 20 units straight to the right. Rest my cursor in an upward polar tracking angle and type 2.5 and hit enter. All I got to do is come back here to the starting point. I can O-snap on it, but it's a little easier to invoke the close option. You can click on it and down in the command prompt, type C, enter, or in the AutoCAD, right-click and pick the close option off the cursor menu. Last step is to erase this guideline we used, and we've completed step number 1. Let me show it in IntelliCAD. Line, come down 1.5 and hit enter. Move to the right, what was that, 20 and hit enter. Up, 1.5 and hit enter. 2.5 and hit enter. And then invoke the close option off the kind of sort of cursor menu. Or type C enter, hit the delete icon, like AutoCAD's erase, select an object and hit enter. So there's step one in IntelliCAD. Last week we also learned the fillet command. Topaz, I apologize, I didn't give you the refresher at the beginning of this class. So I'll go through it slowly. Let's get back to AutoCAD. Step two is to round the corners by a set radius. The corner here in the right of the half blade is to be 1.5 units radius. Figure a unit is an inch. In this case, we're making about a 48-foot diameter ceiling fan when everything's done. Okay, on the other side though, we want to round it a little sharper. We want to round it at only a radius of 0.5. So it's a sharper curve on the left than we have on the right. The fillet command in AutoCAD is almost dead center of the modify panel. Okay, remember we had erase, we had mirror, we had move. Fillet is close, kind of between erase and mirror. We'll tap the fillet icon. Move my zoom stuff out of the way if I can figure out how. Okay, something went wrong there. Okay, the SV $ is an automatic save. I believe IntelliCAD has a, yeah, I better check. I don't know if IntelliCAD has an automatic save, but you know, if you never ever save your drawing, AutoCAD automatically saves. I can't remember if it's 20 minutes by default or 10 minutes now, but if you're interested, I'll show you where that SV $ is. You find it, change it to DWG, and you can open it up, just as if it was a saved drawing file. Anyway, let's click on fillet icon. AutoCAD tells you the radius is set at 0.5 now. I think yours says 0. I was practicing before class, and mine says 0.5. I believe yours on a brand new drawing will say 0. I don't want to use 0.5 for the upper right curve. I want to use 1.5. So I'll right click and invoke the radius option of the fillet command. After clicking radius, AutoCAD says specify the fillet radius that you want it to be. I don't want it to be 1.5 anymore. I want it to be 1.5. Hit enter. Fillet command acknowledges, hey, the fillet radius is now 1.5. Fillet command says select the first object that you want to place this elbow in. I'll click, and it's a good habit to click in the vicinity where you want the action to be. I don't think it matters for the fillet command, but it's a good habit to click near the end that you want the new thing to occur. So I'll click near the end. AutoCAD says select the second object. I'll click near the end. And AutoCAD truncated the two lines back and placed an arc of a radius of 1.5 unit. If the lines were too short, I can fill it, it'll lengthen. Well, I guess these are too long. Let me try that again. Short line. I'm hitting space bar to invoke the last use command. I'll fill up these two lines at the 1.5 radius, and you'll see they lengthen so that the 1.5 radius arc can perfectly fit between the lines, like placing a pipe bend or an elbow in a piping system. Getting back to our page 1, I'll launch the fillet command again, right click, pick radius, set it to 0.5, back where I had it from practicing, and click near the two ends, and there's our radius.
Question, Paul, Stan.
Yes, sir, Dan.
To answer your question earlier about my microphone, the company doesn't let us download software, and the program isn't working good with the platform that's used on the internet. Anyways, I'm talking to you through the other system. I wanted to know through Sally's system on the
I'm
Google
with
Drive.
you. Okay, that's
So
fine.
I wanted to know how to instead of make a corner there, you have two lines, they're not touching. How do you make them come to 90, or just to point and touch one another?
That would be the exact same process, but set the radius to 0.
Oh, so easy. Thank you.
Right click, radius, 0, enter, click, click.
Okay.
By the
thank you.
way, keep in mind that once the arc is formed, it sticks there forever. When we learn polylines, they have a little bit of intelligence. But if I were to fillet these two lines, check it out, they go to a 0, but the original arc remains.
Yep.
So break my heart, you gotta erase the original arc if you change to a 0 radius or a 10 unit radius, or anyway. Let me show the IntelliCAD method. Where's fillet? Same place. Command prompt, double check. I got polar tracking and object snap on and set. Nothing else on. Where was I? Fillet. Pick radius, set it to 1.5 and hit enter. IntelliCAD saying select first object. I'll zoom in and click. It says select second entity or object. Easier done than said. Click fillet, change the radius to 0.5 and hit enter. And pick the two lines we want to place the elbow. And similarly, if you got two lines, you can fillet them at a 0 unit radius to make them intersect. Move one. You can, in this case, the lines are too long. I can fillet them down to an intersection. And AutoCAD will lengthen or truncate by default. You can rig it so it does not change the lines, but I don't know a reason to. 4:13. Take a 10-minute break. Hearing no objection.
Yes.
Okay, let's reconvene at 4:25. Anybody want a rerun of anything during the break? Okay, pipe up.
Yes. Can you demonstrate to me one more time the mirroring tool?
Certainly. That'll be the next thing we do for the fan, but The mirroring command, you select the oh, let me go. You're using AutoCAD or IntelliCAD?
IntelliCAD.
Okay, I'll stay with IntelliCAD. Click the mirror icon when nothing is selected and the command prompt says escape. If it says anything else and you got stuff selected, just hit escape twice and you get back to command prompt with nothing selected. Click the mirror icon. Select the stuff you want to mirror. Hold the shift key and remove stuff if you want. Hit enter when you're finished defining the selection set. IntelliCAD says start your mirror line. You know, if I want to just flip this right over on top of itself, like I've back when I was doing floor plans, I'd make one room and the boss says no, we've changed our mind, we wanted a mirror copy. Okay, well I'll just draw a mirror line straight through itself. Okay, I'm going to flip the entire stack. Okay, now that last question comes up. Do you want to delete the original entities with a default no? In this rare case, I want to say yes. If I leave the original entities and add the mirror entity, I'm going to double the amount of ink. And it's a real mess to clean up, you know, if I don't notice it, you know, hours later I come back, oh my gosh, I got twice as many walls and furniture. Anyway, I'm going to answer that question yes off this cursor-ish menu. And it flipped the entire plate of spaghetti, leaving none of the original. So far, so good.
Getting there. You said, well, nothing selected, you select mirror.
Right. Nothing selected. The command area says command. Polar tracking is on and set. Object snap is on and set. I can't point to them because my Zoom stuff is covering it up. The only status bar buttons are polar tracking and object snap. They're on and colored yellow and they're set correctly.
Yep.
I'll click mirror. I'll select what I want to reflect. Being a regular window, it's not going to select this diagonal line down here in the corner. It'll only select what's totally enclosed. Hit enter. Pick 2 points. Hit enter to say, no, I do not want to delete the original. I made a mirror copy over here. I can mirror my entire drawing. It's a fast way to get a big plate of spaghetti. Okay, I got 418. I got a list of things I want to mention verbally. I'll wait till the class gets together. Some of them I've already covered.
What version of IntelliCAD do you have?
I believe this is 9.2 IntelliCAD.
Okay.
Somebody emailed me saying that they downloaded the state-of-the-art IntelliCAD when they believed I had said download and install an old version, and I can't think of what I might have said to give that impression. In IntelliCAD, you know, get the newest one available. I can't remember if it asks you for your operate, whether you got a 64-bit system or a 32-bit system. Don't believe it asked. But whenever you're asked, hey, you want it for 32 or 64, chances are you got a 64-bit system. And much to my surprise, a 32-bit software does not run on a 64-bit system. So select 64-bit system when in doubt.
Because my IntelliCAD isn't responding like yours is. I select mirror, and then I highlight it like you said, but it's not. After that, it acts different.
Now, after selecting stuff, do you hit enter to conclude the
Yes,
selection set?
yes, and then it just says command in the command box. It doesn't say anything after that, and it doesn't try to mirror the object or the entity.
We've got a few minutes of break left here. Is it possible to share your screen and let me watch what you're doing, Aaron?
Let me see.
If it's, you know, that's asking a lot. If I was a student, I wouldn't know how to do it.
Oh, it says host disabled participant screen sharing.
Say that again, Aaron.
It says that the Zoom call host has disabled screen sharing for participants.
Oh. I don't know how to change that. Let me write some notes here for some action items. I'll try to delete the host must accept incoming participants. I can imagine anyone wanting to come in that shouldn't come in. And I'll see if I can find allow participants sharing. And I can't remember if I set that or if it's a default that I just let go continue. So hopefully I'll get it fit. Anyway, let's work together here, Aaron. We'll draw just some shape and close it. You got a box or a pentagon, 4 or 5-sided object?
Yes.
Okay. Right along with me, let's click the mirror icon.
All right, click mirror.
Right. Now, does your menu pop up like mine?
Yes, with the select all entities, add to set, all of the different commands.
Excellent. Good. And your command prompt says select entities to mirror.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the filter means. I don't think AutoCAD has the. It might be, hey, I want all circles to be selected or everything that's colored green select. Anyway, let's select our shape. Fastest way is a right to left crossing window to select everything. I've got 5 entities selected. It still says select entities because it doesn't know. I might want to select my entire drawing. You know, more stuff to mirror. It doesn't know that I'm concentrating on just the wing of a butterfly.
Okay.
Okay, let's hit enter to tell IntelliCAD we don't want to change our selection set. We want to operate on just the 5 entities, or 4 if you had a rectangle. I'm going to hit enter. IntelliCAD then continues the mirror process with a few more steps. Start a mirror line. Earlier I picked ends of a line, but you can pick 2 points vertical or 2 points at random, or vertical right through the middle. I'll pick 2 points at random. Say I want a mirror line to go from here, the start point, IntelliCAD says end of mirror line. I'll just pick a random point, could be on a polar tracking line. You know, a lot of times you'll mirror on a vertical or horizontal line, especially in architecture, but I'll stay off of the polar tracking lines and just pick a second point. The last step of the mirror process is, do you want to delete the original stuff? Usually you do not want to delete the original stuff.
Okay.
So select no, keep the stuff off the menu, or hit N, enter. IntelliCAD has a few commands that you can pick your options on the command prompt. I don't know why it's just a few and not all commands. Let's click no, keep the stuff. Back to command prompt, and we made a mirror copy.
All right, it worked that time. Thank you.
Good. Incidentally, when we get into intermediate, we'll use a 3D mirror command. In that case, you need to define 3 points in space. You're defining a mirroring plane about which to reflect. You know, I keep thinking of Alice in Wonderland or the Matrix, you know. But, anyway, hope you'll continue into intermediate. Okay, I got 4:26. Everybody back from break? Let's continue on with page 1-2.
Yes.
Okay, starting with AutoCAD. I've got a half a fan blade formed in steps 1 and 2. Using step 3, I'll just mirror this about a mirror line from end to end here. Now, any 2 point, remember a line goes on for infinity. It doesn't have to be these 2 endpoints. It can be this endpoint and the polar tracking slightly to the right or left. It's got to be 2 points that are in a line between these points, or on a line extending either direction forever. Anyway, back here, let's click the mirror icon. I'll select stuff with a regular window. Seeing I just over selected, I'll hold the shift button and deselect the stuff I don't want to mirror. Okay, I've got the 5 objects, 2 arcs and 3 lines selected. 5 objects selected. I want no more, no less, so I'll hit enter to tell the CAD system that I'm finished defining my selection set. AutoCAD continues on with the mirror process. Specify first point of mirror line. Probably one of these 2 endpoints is the easiest and maybe the only choices. Click either one. Now in AutoCAD says specify second point of mirror line. IntelliCAD says end point instead of second point. But certainly this endpoint is good, but any point along this polar tracking line is just as good. And any point along polar tracking line off here to the right is just as good. I'll click a point on a polar tracking line to the right just for demonstration's sake. Last step of the mirror process is, do you want to erase source objects? Most often you do not want to erase source objects. So answer that question with the no option. In AutoCAD, we've been right-clicking and selecting the option. No, I do not want to erase. There's our completion of step 3. Okay, for the there's my IntelliCAD conscience tickler. I don't know how often it comes up, every hour. But I don't want to pay the $150 or whatever it costs this just yet. If we continue using IntelliCAD, anyway, I'll click OK. Yes, I know, I'm using it for free. I'll get IntelliCAD back in operation. Click the mirror command, select everything that's the half of a blade. By using a regular window, I can select the 5 objects quickly without over selecting those garbage lines below my half blade. IntelliCAD is waiting for me to select more or delete away from the selection set. I've got what I want to operate on, those 2 arcs and those 3 lines, the 5 objects are IntelliCAD entities. I'll hit enter to tell IntelliCAD my selection set is ready to continue the modify procedure. IntelliCAD says start of mirror line instead of first point. Pick one end or the other. I almost click the midpoint because they're so close. I'll zoom in a bit by rolling the wheel. I'll click one end point or the other. IntelliCAD now says end of mirror line instead of second point. Any point on this polar tracking line is as good as another. Even over here, even over here. So I'll pick a point on the polar tracking line. Just like AutoCAD, do you want to delete the original stuff? No. I'll click no, keep the stuff. And there we got a single blade. Aaron, you with me?
Yes, I'm with you.
Excellent. By the way, go to the, I thought I had 3 IntelliCAD users. Let me go back to the desktop. Open up my browser. All right, where are you? Something's not working right. I can't get my, all right, be that way. I'll add another window and pull it off to the side here. Stretch it out. I've got our classwork rigged on this. I like this is Google Chrome. But anyway, I'll go to the classwork of our class. Pick class drive folder where all the recordings are stored. And there's a folder saying Zoom, here we go, recordings from Zoom. Double click, and I got a couple of IntelliCAD tutorials here, including exactly what we're doing in class here. So double click on this video, and I'll jump ahead. It does, fly out. It walks us through everything we've done so far. So maybe review that before for next class. My YouTube videos are all based on AutoCAD, so I'll try to make recordings for the IntelliCAD side. Don't know if I'll upload them to YouTube or not. We're still working on getting everybody AutoCADs. I don't know if I bet we will or bet we won't. So anyway, where are we? Let's see, bring up IntelliCAD, bring up AutoCAD. Okay, we're ready for step 4 now. All we want to do is make a circle to represent the motor of the ceiling fan. Now, eventually, the motor is going to be off the end of the blade. But let's create the motor originally at the end point of these 2 lines here on the left end of the blade. Then we'll use the move command to nudge it 2 units. I would have thought I made that 2 larger. That says 2 units there in step 5. Getting back to step 4, we know the diameter of the circle. That's what the circle slash means in the magenta circle /8. That means the circle has a diameter of 8. The circle slash is global language for diameter. I believe any France, China, I'm not sure about China, but just about any Western country will understand circle slash means diameter. So let's drop down and select center diameter tool. Snap at the end point of these 2 lines at the end. Now be careful, there's midpoints real close, so zoom in, make sure you're targeting the proper endpoint object snap. Click. AutoCAD now asks specify the diameter of the circle. Step 4 says a diameter of 8, so I'll type 8 and hit enter. Let me go to step 5 and then I'll go to IntelliCAD for the IntelliCAD side. Step 5 says with polar tracking on, move the circle 2 units to the left. We'll click the move icon in AutoCAD, select the circle. Anyway, we know how to select. Crossing window right to left is probably the least precision and the least mouse movement. Hit enter to tell AutoCAD my selection set is exactly the one object I've got in the set right now. AutoCAD comes back with specify the base point. Remember, base and second point are not important. It's the distance and direction between the 2 that matter, the vector. So I'll pick anywhere in space and form a 2-unit vector from that random point in space by sliding out the 180-degree polar tracking line and type 2 and hit enter. And that nudged the center of the circle 2 units from where we created it. Getting to IntelliCAD, I'll drop down the circle flyout, select circle center diameter method. IntelliCAD says, where do you want the center of the circle? I'll object snap precisely at the ends of these 2 short lines. You know, we originally drew one and we created the other with the mirror process. So I got the endpoint of both of them, I guess, homed in. That might be what that double blue square is. I haven't quite figured that out yet. Anyway, click left click when your cursor's on the end point. IntelliCAD is asking for diameter of the circle. Type 8 and hit enter. And we want the shaft of the motor to be a little bit off the blade. So let's launch the move command in IntelliCAD. Select our 8-unit circle and hit enter. You know, I could pick this point again or the quadrant, but I'll pick random point again. Now it says specify second point, being very careful that my cursor stays on the 180-degree polar tracking line pointing to the left. I'll type the distance I want to go in that direction. 2, enter. The center of the motor lines up with the centers of the blade, but it's now off the end of the blade. So far, so good, Aaron?
Yes.
Okay, again, check out that Zoom recording or recording of Zoom in our classroom for, to strengthen. It's easy to forget this stuff with just using it a few hours a week. We're ready for step 6 now. I'll start again in AutoCAD. Step 6 says mirror the blade about the center of the motor. So our mirror line is going to go right through the center of the motor. You got 3 points already on a vertical line right through the center of the motor. You got the quadrant at the bottom, you got the center in the center, and you got the quadrant at the top. So pick one of those 3 and use polar tracking for the second point. Let's click mirror. Select the, whoa, my bad. Select the entire blade. By starting on the left, ending on the right, I can click the blade and nothing else. Oh, I'm sorry, I still got those diagonal lines. I forgot about those. Not a problem. I'll hold the Shift key down and remove from my selection set those diagonal lines and hit enter to say, hey, I just want those 10 objects in my selection set. No more, no less. Again, I'll hit enter to tell AutoCAD I'm finished defining my selection set. AutoCAD comes back with specify the first point of the mirror line. With Burgener's 5 favorite running object snaps, these quadrants in the end and the center are easy to home in on. Pick any one of these 3. And then polar track straight down or straight up. When AutoCAD says specify the second point of the mirror line. Click. As usual, the last question, do you want to erase the old stuff? No. I'll right click and answer no. Go into the IntelliCAD flavor of doing CAD. I'll click the mirror icon. I'll select the blade. I believe I can select the 10 objects with a simple regular window here. The diagonals are hanging in and out of the windows, so they will not be selected. I got the 10 objects selected. That's no more and no less than I want to operate on. I'll hit enter to tell AutoCAD I'm finished with my selection set. Please proceed with the modify command. Mirror command says start a mirror line, same 3 points. Sometimes to find the center of a circle, it helps if you kind of slide across the perimeter of a circle or the circumference. And that tells, at least with AutoCAD, I noticed, if you got, anyway, slide, hover around the circumference and you can easily find the center. IntelliCAD now says specify the end of the mirror line. AutoCAD says second point. I kind of like end better. Any point, including the quadrant at the top or bottom, are good. Since I'm here, I'll just click on the bottom quadrant. Last question, do you want to delete the original stuff? No, I want to keep the original stuff. So I'll hit N, enter for no, or select no keep entities on the menu. And you got 2 of the 4 blades. All you IntelliCAD operators comfortable with that? Next step, we're going to mirror the 2 blades about a 45-degree line. And this is an excellent example why I suggest 45-degree polar tracking increment instead of 90. Back in, we're working on step 7 now. Mirror the 2 blades using the mirror line from the circle center to any of the 45-degree increment polar tracking line. Well, I shouldn't say any, because 0, 90, 180 are not eligible. But going 45 to the upper right will work, 45 to the lower right will work, 45 to the lower, anyway. Click mirror. I must have bounced off it. Click mirror. Good. Mirror command says select objects. I might be able, I keep forgetting and holding the mouse down and getting that lasso thing. Precise click. Yep, I got the 2 diagonal lines again. Not a problem. Before I hit enter to say I'm finished, I'll hold the shift key and deselect the 2. I've got 20 objects, 10 objects in each fan blade and 2 blades, so 20 objects, no more, no less. I'll hit enter to tell AutoCAD to continue with the modify process. The mirror modify process now says select first point of mirror line. I think your only choice is dead center of the circle. Yep, I can't think of, unless you know the absolute X comma Y of the center, your only choice is O snapping at the center of the circle. Again, hover on the circumference makes it clear that you're looking at a circle. Polar track up any one of these diagonal 45-degree polar tracking lines. AutoCAD says specify second point. IntelliCAD says end point. Click on anywhere on a polar tracking line going diagonal. AutoCAD says, do you want to erase the original stuff, source stuff? Right click and answer that no. I want to add stuff, not flip stuff. No, I do not want to erase. We're finished with page 3-1. Going to IntelliCAD now. I'll click the mirror icon. I'll draw a That's interesting. I'm holding the mouse button down in IntelliCAD. I wonder, okay, it works either way, holding the mouse button down or clicking with the mouse at each corner. AutoCAD goes into that lasso thing that I really haven't learned to appreciate, doubt I ever will. We'll click again. I managed to select 20 entities. That's no more, no less than what I want to operate on. So I'll hit enter. Tell IntelliCAD to continue the modifying command, in this case, mirror. IntelliCAD says start a mirror line, hover over the circumference, makes it easy to find the center. Click when you see the red circle for center. Next step is end of mirror line. Any point in any of these 4 directions is good. So click when you're on one of the diagonal polar tracking lines. IntelliCAD asks, do you want to delete the original entities? No, I want to keep the entities. Click on no, keep entities, or type N, enter, or click on no on the command prompt. I'll stick with the menu here. Dun, 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 dun. There's our first ceiling fan. Got a little bit of cleanup. These blades are not made of glass. So the next step will be to trim the pieces of the motor that are covered up by the non-transparent lens or blades. Okay, back to AutoCAD. And let's, nuts. I lost my page 3-2. Always something, ain't it? Not a problem. Go back to classwork. Go to class 3. Double click on page 3-2. By the way, your homework assignment is these 2 exercises. I forget what they look like. Let me double check. Yep, you're smart enough to do 20 and 21. I don't know if there's any glitches in the textbook, so print this out or look at the textbook. But if you look at the textbook, double check my errata sheet for missing dimensions or dimensions that are unnecessary. You know, it's bad practice to dimension things, you know, to over dimension things. Anyway, where are we? Classwork. I want to get 3-2 up and running. Slide him over here. Okay, this page, I got my usual reminder, set your O-snaps and polar tracking. By the way, the 0 degree direction is straight to the right. 180 is to the left. 90 straight up. Anytime, well, there are some exceptions, but the general rule in AutoCAD is when you type an angle of 45, it means 45 degrees in the counterclockwise direction. That's a big deal when we get to the rotate command. By the way, if you printed out the entire set I emailed to you, you don't have the rotate command and the link to the YouTube tutorial. You know, just yesterday. I think I added that to the handout, forgetting that, hey, I'm teaching the rotate command down here in step 10. So that's one of the things I wanted to warn you about. Is, I revised page 3-2. Where was I? Oh, step 1, trim command. We've already covered that last week or the week before. I think it was last week. Topaz, again, apologize. I didn't fire hose you that in the beginning of the class, but go back to the recording for week number 2. I'll go slowly. I want to trim the pieces of the motor that are covered up by the blades. Okay. The trim command in AutoCAD is top dead center of the modify panel. It's on a flyout with the extend command, which is kind of a sister command. You know, it lengthens stuff instead of shaving stuff. Let's stick with trim command. So click trim command. Trim command first asks select the objects for the cutting edges. Unfortunately, AutoCAD is started in 1982, and it asks for the cutting edges first, not the stuff you want to trim first. Deal with it. I don't know, maybe they could add another command that asks stuff in a logical order. But AutoCAD asks for the cutting edges. Notice here in the default brackets, it says select all. Usually that's the wise thing to do, is select all. So I'm just going to hit enter so that everything is a knife blade cutting edge. That way, if I click here, it'll disintegrate, there it'll disintegrate, there it'll disintegrate, there it'll disintegrate a piece of the line. I'm going to hit enter so that everything is a cutting edge. Next step is select the object to trim. And got several options, the fence option, a crossing window. I don't know what project is. So disregard those options. I want to trim here from cutting edge to cutting edge. So click anywhere between the cutting edges. Remember, everything is a cutting edge now. I want to trim everything between these cutting edges. Click there and click here. Now, once in a while, you get an object that doesn't cross anything. This object cannot be trimmed because it does not cross anything. So next time you see type a command, you can erase it with the erase command, or you can invoke the erase option of the trim command. I think it's just as easy to hit enter to get back to type a command and then launch the erase command to get rid of it. Be aware, after you trim, sooner or later, you're going to end up with some stuff you want to disintegrate that does not cross anything. Just go back a minute later and erase it. Showing IntelliCAD now. Trim command. Same word, but different icon. It's kind of sort of, you know, it's above the fillet command to the left of the delete command icon. So double check says command colon, double check I got polar tracking on and set, object snap on and set. I'll click trim. IntelliCAD says select the cutting entities, or simply hit enter to select everything to be a cutting edge. Usually that's beneficial. I'll just hit enter to select everything as a cutting edge. IntelliCAD has a bunch of options similar to AutoCAD. I have no use for them. I'm just going to click between cutting edges where I want to disintegrate. And like AutoCAD, I can trim stuff away, and I got these little objects that don't cross anything. Interesting. IntelliCAD does not have the erase option built into the trim command. So I'll hit enter, click delete and select those two and hit enter, their history. So I'm tempted to say IntelliCAD is identical, but a different looking icon. And slightly different questions it asks. Getting back to AutoCAD, if you got your command prompt, why can I not grab my command area? Well, I'm at a loss. I thought I could resize my command area, but something's interfering with it. But my point is, I like to have students have 3 lines of black text above the white area, because for example, in the trim command, if you only had the white area shown, you would not see this select cutting edges line. It's a little more advanced, but there's some adjustments that I don't teach. But again, 3 lines will show you all there is to see that AutoCAD shows you. Moving right along, down through some things. Let's see, can I scroll over? All right, I'll drag it over. This is step 10. Oh, no, it's a continuation of step 9. Maybe should have been a step 9B. Anyway, I want to make copies of this thing with the copy command we're covering. This is our first use of the copy command. You'll find it's identical to the move command, except that it leaves stuff where it moved from. And it keeps making copy, copy, copy as you click, click, click until you hit enter. But it's just kind of a move command with on steroids, kind of, sort of. We'll click the copy icon. First column far left of the Modify panel on the Home tab of the ribbon in AutoCAD. Something happened. Must have bounced off of it. AutoCAD says select the objects. All right. I'll select all the stuff. I'll hold the Shift key to deselect the stuff that I carelessly selected. I've got 44 objects. Yeah, I guess it's 10 per blade, and then the 4 arcs that now show the motors. I've got everything selected that I want to replicate. with the copy command, no more, no less. So I'll hit enter. Lose that. Probably intuitive to grab it by the center. But just like move, I can click 2 points over here. But again, it's a little more intuitive. I'm going to grab this stuff and place some copies all over. Enter. Showing the same process in IntelliCAD. I don't know of a difference. Icon's even similar. Click copy, select everything. Nuts. Well, okay. Not a problem. I'll hold the shift key and deselect that line. Command area says I got 44 objects, same number, or entities, same as the number of objects in AutoCAD. No more, no less. That's the selection set I want to work with. Hit enter to tell IntelliCAD I'm finished defining the selection set. Like AutoCAD, so specify base point. It's intuitive to hover on an arc, and that'll help the CAD system understand you're looking for the center of an arc. Click when you see the red circle, whoops, and I'll place some copies. Like the Energizer Bunny, it keeps going and going. Hit enter to finish the copy process. And by the way, much like the move command, you can, I don't see one I can get a clear shot at, so I'll just window one, hold shift and deselect, enter. I can place a copy exactly 60 units to the right simply by taking advantage of direct distance and polar tracking. Polar tracking says the direction I want to go. I'm going to type 60, enter. And there's the copy I made. The array command, I believe, will allow you to make columns and rows. Hit enter when you're finished making copies. Step 10 says, of all the copies you made, scale a couple and rotate a couple. The scale command makes stuff bigger or smaller depending on the scale factor you use. The scale icon, oops, I'm in IntelliCAD. Let me bounce over to AutoCAD. The scale icon is this white square growing into the blue square. Again, the scale command can be used to reduce the size, even though the icon and the tooltip kind of show it enlarging. So from when the command prompt says type a command and there's no blue grips, click the scale icon. Select what you want to scale. I over selected, so I'll hold the shift key and deselect. Got the 44 pieces of a ceiling fan. I need no more, no less. I can select the second one and scale them, 2 of them at the same time. But let's just hit enter to say we're finished with the selection set. Scale command comes back with specify base point. In this case, it's kind of like where you stick a thumbtack when you enlarge or reduce the stuff. So base point is kind of like where you thumbtack it all, and you can scale it larger or smaller radially from the base point. If you want to enlarge a tree, you might snap at the bottom of the trunk. Anyway, we'll click base point dead center. And you can, now it's asking for scale factor. You can just click with a rubber band to pick a random scale factor. In this case, it's maybe factor of 5, I guess. If you get real close, less than 1 unit of rubber band, your scale factor will be less than 1, and the stuff will be scaled smaller. So either way, I'm going to make it smaller, say 0.75 on the command prompt. And this will make it 3/4 of its original size. Hit enter. And zoom out. Wasn't quite as dramatic a change, but that's 75% of all the other copies. Let's make a copy of this scaled one. And let's rotate one of the copies of the scaled ceiling fan. Rotate kind of looks like the redo arrow, a clockwise arrow. Double check, says type a command, no blue grips. Click on, where are we? Rotate icon. Should give you a break. Much like most or all the other modify commands, it wants you to build a selection set. I'll select all 44 objects with a big regular window that selects what's enclosed and hit enter. Rotate says specify base point. You can think of this like a thumbtack as well. Where you thumbtack is where the stuff is going to pivot. So I can have it pivot at the bottom. Probably more intuitive to pivot it right on the motor shaft in the center of the arc. So click wherever, and you can rotate it a random angle just by clicking where you see a random angle. You can rotate it perfectly 45 degrees by clicking on the polar tracking line. Or, regardless of where your mouse is, you can type an odd angle, say 23.123 degrees, and hit enter. Little review, you can rotate using a base point of the tip of a tip of a blade, and rotate it. Remember, it goes counterclockwise, the angle that you type. I'll say 57.234 degrees. Hit enter. Before we overlap and trim them, let's do the same on IntelliCAD. I got a clear shot at this one, so I'll scale the ceiling fan in IntelliCAD. The scale icon in IntelliCAD is nearly identical to the scale command in AutoCAD. Same spot on the palette too. So click with your left mouse on the scale icon. It says select stuff. It's asking you to build a selection set. I'll select everything and hit enter. Oh, snap dead center of the ceiling fan or wherever. To remember, for the scale command, it grows bigger or smaller from the base point. Just like AutoCAD, I can select a big or small scale factor to make it, you know, scale up or down. As I did with AutoCAD, I'm going to make it 3/4 of its original size. I'll type 0.75 on the command line, so it'll reduce to 75% of its original size. A little redundancy, I'll scale another one. Over selected, hold the shift key and deselect. Got 44 objects, hit enter. I'll pick a random point. So it'll scale bigger or smaller from this random point. And I'll say I'll make it 30.33, so it's roughly 1/3 of its original size. So it moved toward the base point as everything scaled smaller. Rotate command, nearly identical icon, nearly identical place on the modify panel. Click rotate. Select the stuff you want to rotate, hit enter. Pick a point dead center or somewhere, anywhere. And about the base point, you can rotate everything selected. Pick a random angle. Or pick a precise angle, say 30 degrees. And that AutoCAD will, you know, anytime, generally when the question says, well, which way, clockwise or counterclockwise, AutoCAD will assume counterclockwise, or IntelliCAD will assume counterclockwise. So type 30 and hit enter. And just slightly rotated counterclockwise. Where are we? By the way, I let you out early last time. Nobody caught it, and nobody scolded me between classes. So I owe you 15 minutes. Can we go to 5? Can we go to 6 o'clock tonight? Anybody object? I'll get you started on those 2 exercises for homework.
Paul, I'm gonna have to leave.
Okay.
I'm a second shifter. I'll just pick it up on the video. You have a video,
All right.
right?
Okay, yeah. You know, zoom in on the last, what, 45 minutes of the video.
Okay.
Have a nice week.
All right, you too. Thank you. Hey, next week, are you not gonna be here?
Ah, thank you. Correct. Yeah, I'm visiting my elderly father in Ann Arbor. So the week after, we'll have class on Tuesday and Thursday.
Okay. All right.
So
So nothing.
see you 2 weeks from today.
When is the homework gonna be due?
The Saturday before the Tuesday we meet again.
Okay.
I forget what date that is, but you know, I'd like
All right.
to get it Saturday night
Okay.
so I can nitpick in time to return by Tuesday.
Okay.
And I think that date will be the 11th. Saturday, midnight, the 11th.
Okay, Saturday.
By the way, I'm not documenting grades. All I'm documenting is whether or not you did it. And, you know, some are doing them better than others. But I just want you to do something. Last step of this page 3-2 is to place your rotated and scaled stuff on top of others, and let's exercise the trim command. So say you're lying on the floor looking straight up at the ceiling. Let's say this fan is the closest to your face. And then a couple inches above that one is this one. Disregard the fact that the blade will crash into the motor. So let's trim everything that overhangs into this low fan. Got a lot of stuff to trim away down here. I'm in IntelliCAD. That's okay. I'll do it reverse order. Click Trim in IntelliCAD, hit Enter so that everything is a cutting edge. Now come in and machine gun everything that this ceiling fan covers up. Okay, there's a orphaned line, not a problem. I think there's a piece of an arc. I can get the piece of a line there. I'll come back later or invoke the, oh, we're in IntelliCAD, doesn't have the erase option, not a problem. We'll keep trimming away. I think that's everything I can trim away. I'll hit Enter. Could have trimmed the further ones, but I'll invoke the delete command and select the, whoa, what happened there? Not a problem. We'll select it with a regular selection set window. There, now it's clear which fan is the closest to your face. This one might be the next higher. Click Trim, hit Enter for everything to be a cutting edge. Delete what hangs over. Enter to finish the trim command, hit Delete, and select the garbage. That's about what I did with the handout. Let's go to AutoCAD. We'll copy maybe all three of these. If I can, whoop, slightly missed a few objects. I should have 3 times 44. I'll trust that's equal to 132. Hit Enter. Overlap the stuff. Let's concentrate on these three. Say this one's the closest, then this one, and then the small one's the furthest one away. The trim command in AutoCAD, as we've seen a few times before. Hit Enter for everything. And let's see. This might be a good use of the fence option. I'll demonstrate that. Again, it's not expected of students, but I'll draw a fence that crosses everything. Going over things twice is a little unpredictable. Good, it worked. Many releases ago, strange things happened if you fenced across something twice. Kind of a flip of a coin whether it worked. I'll erase the garbage. Hello, forgot this guy. Trim, enter, and okay, there's, remember class number 1, when you see when things that should be round are kind of octagonal, can't quite believe what you're seeing, simply type RE, enter. RE, there we go. And yes, I do need to trim that little guy there away. Trim, enter, there. Okay, launch trim again, enter. And got a lot of stuff to whittle away here. Going to end up with a lot to erase. Whoops. I should not have erased that. Let me undo.
Excuse me, Paul, it's Dan.
Sir.
Wouldn't it be great to use the lasso command now?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, if you select, keep in mind these arcs that don't cross, no matter how you select them, they either delete or they don't. All right, let's see. I'll trim using the whoa, where am I? Why does the lasso command, lasso process not work?
Use the lasso for erasing when you have a bunch of little entities in the center, instead of picking them one by one. Especially in those curved sections where you can't really trap it in like a rectangle or a square.
Right.
Just a thought.
Yeah, I'd proceed like that, Dan. Us old dogs are, hard to learn the new trick, so I'll keep an eye out. Maybe actually I'm at a loss on why the lasso doesn't work for trim. Spoke too soon. Now again, I'm crossing things a few times. Enter. Nothing happened. Trim, enter. Interesting. Sometimes the lasso works and sometimes it does not. Okay, that line is entirely, this line does not cross anything, so I'll have to erase it. Now with the lasso command, I'll erase this clutter. Good idea. Erase, lassoing clockwise. We'll select what's totally enclosed. Oops, totally enclose that guy, so I'll hold shift and deselect it. Hit enter. I believe we got a winner. Erase this guy. Erase, select, enter. All right, I got 530. Want to take a breather, potty break? Let's take a 5-minute break. And at 5:35, we'll start on the exercises 20 and 21. And you can walk with me through it or watch the recording, assuming the recording is working. I'm kind of afraid to check to see if it's working because I might ruin it. Anybody, while we're on break, anybody got any question on anything? A little review, I'm in IntelliCAD. Let's say this one is closer to you than this one. I'll launch IntelliCAD's trim command. I'll hit enter so that everything is a cutting edge. And blast away stuff that the closest one covers up. Hit enter. What the heck? I'll erase these two together. I'm sorry, I'll rotate these together. Rotate. Select, zoom in, and okay, I'm not sure if I got, yeah, I think I got, should be 264. No. Nope, 44 times, I'm sorry, after we've trimmed the entity count is, you know, all bets are off. No longer 44 per fan. I got everything selected I want to use for the rotate command. I'll hit enter. I'll pick a point and give an ever so slight rotation of both of them combined. While we're looking, I think I'm storing the recordings on my hard disk. There should be temporary files starting. Yeah, I believe this is the folder I started at 3:15. And I believe when I stop the recording, a MP3 file will form. So I believe it is recording. Kind of as an experiment, I'm going to create a quiz, multiple choice quiz. I'll email y'all. And we'll see if I know how to make a quiz and y'all know how to answer it and submit it. I think it'll just have 6 questions. One of them will be, which are the 5 favorite O-snaps Burgener recommends? What's the first thing you select when you use the trim command? You select cutting edges. Don't forget the YouTube videos. If you don't have that Excel spreadsheet, it's, I believe, in week number 1 assignments. Don't forget, you got last week and this week's recording in the drive section of our classroom. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know who's tuned in still, but when you try to get the free AutoCAD, I don't believe there is any Newport News High School that you can select that you're a student of. Is that correct? Sally, I think you tried and found that there are no Newport News High Schools. So I'm at a loss on why the apprentice school instructor said that there was. Maybe there was and they were taken off. Okay, everybody back from break. Again, check your email. Hopefully within a few days I'll have a quiz for you in the classroom. And I think they'll be easy. It's an experiment. You know, I need to learn how to make it, and y'all need to learn how to do it. Let's go now to the two homework assignments. Okay, exercise 20 and 21. And again, I can't remember if the errata sheet has any changes. Let's start with 20. And just open up a piece of, oh, by the way, when you're turning in your assignments, try to put them all in the same drawing. I manually copy pasted them all in the same drawing. Until we get into dimensioning, I think, you know, they can be different sizes all in the same drawing. Please, also beneficial, less can go wrong if you include your first name in the name of the DWG file. Maybe WK2 or WK3 for which week it was assigned. Anyway, let's start with 20. Yes.
Excuse me, Paul, it's Dan. A little confused as to what you meant by putting the assignments on one sheet. Are you saying you want week 1, 2, 3, everything, just keep on compiling in one spreadsheet, or I don't understand.
Well, some people did, how to put this, week number 1, we had 2 assignments. One student, I forget who it was, did every assignment that was listed at the bottom of the page 1-1. In that case, each and every drawing was a separate DWG file. So each week, I'd like you to either upload to the classroom or email me just a single DWG file.
Okay,
with
I got you now.
everything assigned for that week.
I follow you now.
And it saves me a couple steps.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you wanted us to keep adding on to what we had previously done the previous week. Thank you.
No, I don't see an advantage to that.
Okay.
By the way, one student asked about the .BAK files. Every time you save it, or how to put this, after you save an AutoCAD file twice, I think, from then on, the most recent saved file is a .BAK. Or I should say anyway, it's the .BAK is a backup file. When you save your DWG, it overrides the former .BAK file with the current state of your drawing and renames how to put this. Anyway, it kind of flip-flops back and forth so that in theory, you save it as it is. You've also got a BAK file of the save you did 10 minutes earlier. And they flip-flop back and forth to minimize computer time and computations, I think. There's another way to save, auto-save file called SV $. Let's check it out here. Why? Oh, I'm in IntelliCAD. That's right. To get the options in IntelliCAD, go to Tools, Options, and I think maybe IntelliCAD does not have an autosave. All right, be that way. Let's go to AutoCAD. Right-click and open space of your graphics area. At the bottom is always Options. Type the word Options. Open and save, file save. Here we go, automatic saves. By default, it's set for 10 minutes. You know, it kind of interrupts your work for a second or two, so you might change that to 20. But where is it stored? AC $ is the file. You can do a search for AC $, but take forever, as big as hard disks are. Go over here to Files, find Automatic Save File Location. And right there is the path that AC $ file is stored in. Decades ago, I rigged it so it would save to your A drive back when we were using 3 1/4 floppy disks, because those computers in the classroom crashed every single week we were in there. So I rigged it so the automatic save would always be on their 3 1/4 floppy disk. You can change it to anything you want. Anyway, let's get back to AutoCAD doing exercise 20. Let's just start with a 135 by 14 box or rectangle. We'll work from there. 135 down, and all of us might attack this thing, you know, in a different way. 14. OSNAP tracking will allow you to acquire that point, and you can terminate right level with it, but I haven't officially taught you that yet, so not a problem. Let's go 135 up and C for close. All right, dead center of this thing is a 10-unit radius circle. So I'll draw a line from midpoint to midpoint and circle radius at the midpoint of that guideline. We want 10 units. Okay, 50, half of 56. I apologize for asking you to do arithmetic. What is that, 28? 56 divided by 2, so 28 units below there will be the 7-unit radius circle. We can draw it right there and move it. My habit is kind of drawing chalk lines. What did I say, 38?
28.
28. Is that what I typed? Let's hit F2 will show you recent history. You're right, I hosed up. All right, we'll undo. One student asked about, can you change the length of a line after the fact? And yeah, there's a lengthen command where you can say, hey, line, I want you to be 22 instead of whatever you are now. Not sure how popular that is. What did I say, 28? Dan, was that 28? Circle center radius, 7, enter. We can mirror this circle up there. Let's do a little more before we, okay, 40 units up from this point is where it breaks at a some 155-degree angle. We'll figure that out when we get there. Okay, 80, I want to go 40 units up. Now, from this point, I want to go 155 degrees from vertical. Is this dimensioned enough? Okay, I think the center of this circle is where the bend is. Anyway, I'm going to send it straight up and rotate it about this base point a negative 155 degrees. Right? I think that'll work. Negative 155 to rotate 155 degrees clockwise. And I believe from this quadrant, wait a minute. Okay, I guess I'll better have to mirror that circle after all. Mirror, select the circle, mirror it over. And I believe the bend in this diagonal line is right at this intersection. I'd have to open up the CAD file to inspect it to be sure, but I think from this quadrant or intersection right there is where the break is. I'll trim, enter, what happened? Trim, enter, shave away. So I need to mirror this guy over to the left and then mirror the 2 across the middle. And it's kind of a puzzle how quickly you can make things with the mirror command. If you plan ahead, I'll connect these lines, hitting enter to bring the command up. And I believe all I got to do is erase and trim garbage. Launch trim, hit enter for everything, and disintegrate everything that doesn't look like the completed project. Hit enter to finish, launch erase. Dun, 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 dun. This early, I don't expect you to do the red center lines, and I don't expect you to do dimensions. I'd say that's number 20 complete. Got another 10 minutes yet. Okay, I think 22 is going to be much smaller. Looking at the dimensions, you know, I kind of, you know, these are each at a different scale on the handouts because I got the magic of zooming in and out to enlarge and shrink with intermediates, layouts, and paper space. Let's see. Where to begin? How about we start with this box here? 45 across and 8 down at the ends. Okay, line. 45 across, 8 down. Draw another line 8 here, but since today we learned the mirror command, I'll exercise the mirror command. Okay, I got the bottom is going to be 65. I'll draw a line 65. I'll move it to the top dead center, and then I'll move it. I could have gotten P enter for previous. Down 8 units. And I'll copy it down another 7 units. Add some lines to the end. All right. Start here, go in 25 and come down. A little arithmetic, this would be 6, enter. And I'll come a short distance and mirror these 2 lines about the center and trim away the garbage and erase the guidelines. Okay, I want to go 4 units. So I drew a 4-inch circle just so I could trim it back. I'll erase my guide circle. Erase that. By the way, you can select and then hit your delete key on your keyboard, but that's not really the elegant, proper way. And I think you're better if you stick with AutoCAD rather than Windows, you know, cut, copy, paste stuff. Let's see, we don't know the angle. We do know it comes 35 units down. I'll put a line there and draw a line 34 units straight down. I'll move this line centered and draw a guide circle. Whose diameter is 40. And trim away garbage. Keep it AutoCAD. I'll copy that guy 5 units down. That's 6 minutes. Okay, I'll draw a guide circle whose radius is 4. And I believe the diagonal goes from that endpoint to this intersection or quadrant.
Oh, I think you were supposed to go up, not down. 5 units. Because
Oh,
you did 34 first, and then you pushed it down another 5, so you should be pushing it up 5.
I knew that.
Thanks.
All right, we'll mirror it and erase that guy. Thank you, Dan. We'll move up. I'm typing. I should be using icons. We'll move the guide circle up there. Thank you. And again, there's our diagonal. Another circle of 8 units. You know, you could draw a line on top of itself, but then it's sloppy if you leave it there and forget about it. Looks like the diagonal line is going to be parallel to this, so I'll copy this to there. Something went wrong. Okay, I think I made this a radius of 8 instead of a diameter of 8. Now let's use a line on top of a line. 8 units. So we got the end point of that 8-unit line on top. We'll copy this diagonal line to that end point. I think we can erase the 40-unit line now. And that'll eliminate the ink on top of ink. Now check it out. This, oh, no, it is long enough. I thought I'd have to scale it a hair to make it longer. Not a problem. Let's see, from the bottom, get line. I'm sure there's faster ways than I'm doing it. Let's see. 22 up and across. Trim garbage. Erase garbage. Reconnect where we erased. Mirror this guy about the center line and connect the, erase that guy, and I think we're done. But gotta trim this guy away. Always something. And this might be 2 things. I can't remember how I did it. Nope, that's a single thing. I erase it. Not sure how that happened. Got a little piece of garbage. Got 2 minutes to spare. And then for good measure, well, you don't know how to place text yet. You know, once we learn text, you know, put your name and the date and week number, but that's in a few weeks. So I'm going to erase everything else and save this like I'd like you to save it. You know, it's kind of polite to have things in the positive quadrant. But okay, I think we're ready to save this guy. File, save as. I'll save it in student work. I'll create a folder for week week space 3. And within this folder, I'll create a folder for Paul's stuff. And then in this folder, I want to name it, say, Paul Week 3, 2021. maybe a hyphen. So that says who made it which week and which textbook exercises. And save it away. Okay, I'm running out of time. For you IntelliCAD workers, I'll make a recording and upload it, into the, name it iCAD, WK3-20 ampersand 21. And you'll try it yourself. Check the recording in the drive of our classroom. Let me take attendance real quick. It's not too late. I think I lost a few. Let's see, we got Aaron, Sally, Ali, Elizabeth, Anna, Dan. Somebody had to leave early. Who was that? Ahmed?
It was Sally, but I'm using her terminal now.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Have a good night. Have a good vacation.
You do the same, Dan. See you in 2 weeks.
Paul.
I'll send you an email when the quiz is ready. Have the quiz and these two exercises done by midnight the Saturday before our next class.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any last words?
Thank you, Paul.
My pleasure. I'll end and see if the recording worked.
Thank you.
Have a good time, good life, guys. See you around. End meeting.